Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Michael's Corner. I am interviewing Brian Blade tonight. Brian, how's it going?
It's going good. It's good to be back on here with you, Michael.
Yeah, it's good to be on. Now, this time I'm on Zoom. So, yeah. So, I was having a little problems getting into the app because, you know, you know, Zoom did its recent updates and whatnot. So
All this technology, and sometimes it doesn't work the way we need it to.
yeah, all that technology. So let's get started with this interview. So the last time, what you been up to since the last time we interviewed each other?
A lot of wrestling stuff, a lot of things going good. Been helping put together a lot of shows and helping a lot of guys with their events coming up. And yeah, just staying busy. Just trying to stay busy and uh, keep wrestling, keep going, and do a lot of things that between working out and such to keep the body going.
Okay, all right. So did you have any recent matches as of late, or what?
Yeah, last well 2 weeks, I guess 2 weeks ago, didn't do anything on the Royal Rumble weekend, and a lot of people are on the JR Cruise this week too. So there wasn't a plethora of shows this past weekend, but a couple weekends ago was in Lincoln, Nebraska, and Manhattan, Kansas. So had matches there for the MWA and TAPW.
Hmm. So, I know that we touched base on this on the last time we did an interview, but for those of people who are new and just watching my YouTube channel, can you tell can you tell them how did you get your start in wrestling?
I started with Omaha Wrestling Association. A friend of mine, Mike Danner, he was at the we were going to the same gym together, and he told me there was a wrestling school in Omaha, and something I always wanted to do. And he finally convinced me to come down. Well, the first time I went down, there were so many people there in one ring. I thought this is kind of ridiculous. I'm never going to learn anything here because there was so many people there that in all honesty, a lot of them, you know, this might hurt some people's feelings, but oh well. A lot of them didn't look like they should be professional wrestlers, and so I wasn't. I was very skeptical of the school. Now Mike looked like he should be a professional wrestler, and his partner, Abu, looked like professional wrestlers. But there were a lot of guys there that looked like they probably shouldn't be professional wrestlers. So I gave it a little time. I think a month or two. I came back, and most of those guys were gone. So obviously, it wasn't. I don't know what happened there. Some of them obviously quit. I'd heard some people broke off, but that's when I started training then and trained for 2 months and I had my first match.
Mhm. Okay. Um, so now I'm gonna ask you this because there's been a lot of people, there's been a lot of naysayers saying that, just because you bought a ticket to a show means means that you can get involved in matches and whatnot, and these fans can do whatever they want. But it's the other way around because these some of the naysayers thinks that they can just do whatever the hell they want to do. Um, what is your input on that? Because I would love to hear your input on the situation.
Well, there's obviously there should be boundaries. If you're a fan, you shouldn't be, one, you shouldn't be throwing things at wrestlers or at the ring. You shouldn't be hitting wrestlers, especially if it's a bar show, you can act a little bit different, but you still should be hitting people or throwing things there. I mean, your language could be a little different as a fan, but if you're at a family friendly event, kind of watch your language a little bit. We all want you to have a good time, cheer, boo, yell, scream, have a great time, Um, but obviously, and you can get in the face of a wrestler, you guys can have a little, interaction that way, but keep your hands to yourself. Don't throw your bottles and cans and trash and wrappers at the wrestlers, and
Mm-hmm.
bring signs. We encourage you bring signs, have fun with it. It's meant to be fun for everybody. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a life or death situation. This isn't war. It's a sport. It's a sport. It's sports entertainment. It's like any other sport. It's when the match is over, the match is over. When the event's over, the event's over. It's just, it should be just like a football game. When the game's over, the game's over. It's just a game. There is no reason to go fight somebody over it or anything like that. It is supposed to be entertaining in the end.
Right. Because I know about 3 or 4 months ago, um, I won't name the wrestler, but he was telling me that like during a match, a fan got involved, decided to get into the ring. Luckily, that wrestler stopped him immediately and told him, "You better get your butt out of this ring right now, or I'm going to do something I might regret and whatnot." Because these fans just jump over the gate and decide to get into that ring. So I told him, like, the next time that happens again, let's make an example out of it.
Well,
And
yeah, you definitely
told
fans.
him, I even told him, you better be lucky that's not you in that ring because, oh my God, Brian Blade, I remember you telling me about this, um, almost, I think during the pre-pandemic that like if anybody decides to get involved and wants to think that they're a wrestler, hey, get in the ring with them, make an example out of them.
Well, we don't know. When you're coming in the ring, one, we don't know your intentions. We don't know who you're going after. We don't know if you got, what you're trying to do. So, we're there to protect ourselves and protect anyone else in the ring first, and then worry about your safety because you should know. I mean, most places tell you before, they set rules. The ring announcer usually sets the rules there before the events. Don't get in the ring. Don't do this. Don't do that. So, you know, you're there to be entertained. You're not there to. The show is not about you. If you want to be part of the show, come train, and we will train. You can be trained to be a wrestler, but you know, stay out of the ring unless you're supposed to be in it because bad things can happen to you.
Yeah, and that's what people are just so damn stupid. And especially the drunks. People like to drink heavily and ugh.
Well, the other
Sometimes,
problem is social media is everyone wants their TikTok moment or whatever. So, that's the other issue is people want the TikTok moment. That's why you have, fans that run out of stands on football games and in basketball games and baseball games, oh, this viral moment and everyone will know who I am.
oh my God, yeah. Yeah, this TikTok thing is way out of hand. That's why I don't that's why I don't have TikTok, because I have enough social media as it is.
I have TikTok, but I just use it for wrestling purposes to help promote things and um,
Hmm.
do it for promos, put wrestling stuff up there. Sometimes I put some other stuff up there. It can be useful in some areas. There's a few things on TikTok I like, but the problem is everyone thinks, oh, I can go viral and I can make $1 million tomorrow if this video goes viral, and
Oh Lord.
you're just sheer luck if something catches. As a wrestler, I'm just using it to try to promote the upcoming events I'm in, and the Brian Blade brand, and that's about it. I'm not trying to, if for some reason that goes viral and I make a gazillion dollars, great. But that's not the purpose of the purpose of it's the same purpose I have Facebook or Instagram is to try to promote where I'm going to be and the upcoming wrestling events I'm going to be on.
Okay. Yeah. Because that, yeah, fans just gotta, you know, you know, just just sit their butts down in their seats and enjoy the wrestling action, and that's it. That's the end of the story. Now I do admit that I made one mistake, and I made one mistake, you know, late summer of last year, there was an incident with me getting involved in the match like I wasn't supposed to, and I stepped on this wrestler's hair and whatnot, and he got all butt hurt about it. So I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson. So it could get out of hand.
And wrestlers got to know the certain boundaries too. That they've got to understand that there's boundaries for them too. So, and some guys don't understand that either. So it goes both ways sometimes.
Yeah, and like I said, you live and you learn. We are we're human beings, we're human at the end of the day. Sometimes, and this is what my good friend Eric Lockhart, he's one of the wrestlers and whatnot, he told me this. Sometimes, Michael, you gotta make mistakes in order to grow, you know? And he's absolutely right. And sometimes I gotta make that little mistake to, in order for me to grow as an, you know, as an interviewer and whatnot. And I do, and I admit I made mistakes. We live. You know, I learn from my mistakes, and I move forward. That's what wrestling is all about. Admitting that you made a mistake and then just move on.
For sure, definitely.
Yeah. So, all right. So, my next question to you is, do you have any other events coming up that you want to address to people?
Yeah, I got lots of stuff coming up. February 16th, I'm in Beatrice, Nebraska. February 17th, I'm in Grand Island, Nebraska. February 23rd, I'm in Fairbury, Nebraska. February 24th, I'm in Abilene, Kansas. I'm going to take a week off, and then March 8th, I'm in Dorchester, Nebraska. March 9th, I'm in Lincoln, Nebraska. March 14th, I'm in St. Charles, Illinois. March 23rd, I am in Junction City, Kansas. And then March 29th, I am in, I think it's Des Plaines, Illinois. I think that's how you say it. I don't think it's Des Plaines. I think it's Des Plaines, Illinois.
Okay.
Um, yep. And then April 12th, I'm in Marion, Ohio. April 13th, I am in Arlington Heights, Illinois. And then April 9th, oh, I forgot March 10th, I'm in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Forgot that one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see, April 13th, Arlington Heights, Illinois. April 19th is Lincoln, Nebraska again. And then April 26th is McCook, Nebraska. And then somewhere in there will be another, probably be Harrington, Kansas, either the 20th or the 27th of April. So, and there's more stuff being added as we go. So it's a busy next couple months.
Wow. That you're one busy person. Yeah.
All over the
So
place.
yeah. So recently you had a match against with James Storm, Cowboy James Storm. Can you tell? Can you tell me, what's it like being in the ring against with Cowboy James Storm?
Well, I've been in the ring with James quite a few times, and James is a great wrestler, a great competitor. It's always an incredible back and forth matchup, and uh, he's really good at what he does. He could have, he should have. In all honesty, he probably should have got a lot farther than he did. I don't know, all the details, of this and that, but I mean, there's some things that he chose not to do. So, that was his choice, not anybody else's choice.
Mhm.
But yeah, he's a heck of a guy. To wrestle in the ring, one of the best guys I've been in the ring with, and look forward to it. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a rematch here soon again here in the next couple of months.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because one of my goals for this year is to actually meet James Storm. Because he's one of my favorites, and he's a good guy, and hopefully I can meet him in person.
You might have to take a road trip. He'll be in Arlington Heights, Illinois, on the April 13th event. So
Okay.
you might take a road trip. I don't know. I don't know if any of the promoters up in Minnesota are going to book him or looking at booking him or not. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I could get a hold of Midwest All Star Wrestling, or I could just make a post on, oh my God, on X or whatnot. So I'll make a post about it, knowing me.
well, he's
So,
a good guy to have, and he stays busy. So they've got to they got to book him up fast, and now he's doing a lot of acting stuff. So he's getting into that. He's starting to transition into acting, and uh,
woo,
he's pretty good at it. I hate to admit that, but he's a fierce rival of mine. But he's pretty good at it, and it'll be something.
yeah,
Looks like something he'll be able to transition to pretty well after he decides to hang up the boots.
yeah. Maybe I should get that interview with him before he does all of that. Mm-hmm. Get him on here.
You might need to.
Yes, yes, because he is. I've been hearing nothing but good stuff about him, and he got that accent. So so I, so that's a while ago. Not only to meet Cowboy James Storm, but to also interview him before you know he does all his things and hangs up the boots and whatnot.
Yeah, I think he got a little time. I don't think he's ready to hang it up quite yet, but you never know.
No,
Right
about
acting game comes along, he might be forced to give it up. Kind of like The Rock and John Cena and stuff. They can't. When they're in the middle of a movie, they can't wrestle. So
okay, yeah. So um, I kind yeah, we touched on this before. Um, what advice can you give to some man or women who wants to be in the wrestling business? What advice can you give to them?
well, stick with it. Work hard. Try not to get into the politics of the business. You start getting into the politics of things, and that's where you find yourself in trouble. Try to stay away from promotions that are highly political. Those they're just not fun. With the people you hear about that talk on Facebook and social media about how they hate wrestling now and how it's no fun. Well, they're in promotions and going to promotions and have a lot of political baggage to them, a lot of drama. Stay away from if you're traveling and you're trying to find different promotions, stay away from the ones that you hear that have a lot of drama. Or if you go there once and you see drama, don't go back. People love to suck you into their drama and their politics. Just try to avoid that as much as you can. You want to love this. You want to have fun. You're there to entertain the people, but you're also there to have fun. You're also there to build yourself. Um, there's a lot of guys that have really built their own, self-esteem by becoming wrestlers, and it's really easy to somebody that doesn't have high self-esteem to start with that gets in the business to just to fall apart in the business. I mean, this thing, it can tear you apart if you let it. And a lot of people let it. A lot of people take things personally. A lot of people are you know, they're worried too much about other people, not quite worried about themselves quite as much. Um, but the main thing is, it's like anything else, you've got to stick with it. I wouldn't, you know, I'm not one of those guys that's like has a checklist of states and places I want to go. I wrestle wherever I wrestle. It's where I end up. I'm not one of these people that have to check off all 50 states to wrestle, and that's never been my goal. Have realistic goals. Wrestling in all 50 states to start with is not a realistic goal. Go where you're going to have fun. Go where and try to make an impact somewhere. Don't just try to. When you're just going into some place one time, you never make any real connections. Uh, you know, it doesn't matter how good you are or not good you are. You never make real connections. Now, I'm not saying don't travel, because you're always going to find different styles of wrestling, different people. You're going to learn, you're going to grow by going different places, but don't always go to just one place and then move on, one place and move on. You're never going to completely grow unless you can become part of somebody's product. So you have to be a part of somebody's month to month or week to week or bi-monthly or however they do it, so that you can become part of that family, as long as that's a good promotion that is a good wrestling family. And there's a lot of promotions out there like that. And there's also a lot of terrible promotions where it's just nothing but BS, drama, and politics.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. It's like that, and that's what the problem with the wrestling business now. Everybody likes to be so goddamn political about everything. And I know one promotion that does that, but I'm not going to name that promotion. You probably heard me call them out one too many times. So,
Yeah. That makes it not fun for the wrestlers, and that trickles down to the fans, and it trickles down to your product.
hmm,
And then everybody knows. And
yeah,
so then it's not fun. And you can tell when people aren't having fun in the ring. You can tell before the matches, after the matches, and if you're bringing yourself down, well, how are you going to bring the crowd up?
hmm, yeah, and that's exactly my point. You see, another thing I really, and this just baffles me, you know, when when some promoter, and I'm not going to name names, I'm not going to name that promoter who said it, is going around telling these young guys and gals, well, if you wrestle for me, you can't wrestle for this company and that company and all the whole 9 yards. And I was like, you know something? Get the hell out of here with that. I don't want to hear that. Because let me tell you something. That is not how the wrestling business works. And they know this. They've been doing this a long freaking time. And I'm just so sick of it. It's 2024. They're still doing it.
Yeah, the only way I could see that, I hate when people do that, is every now and then, if you have two promotions in one town, or there's some places got 3 or 4 promotions in one town, and you don't want somebody to overexpose themselves, um, because a lot of times that does become political. So if you're in, you know, let's say you're in Joe's promotion over here, but you're his champion, and Mike over here in the same city is running. Oh, but you're gonna, we need you to lose to the undercard guy over here. Well, that kind of gets, that's kind of one of those. You probably don't want your champion going over there to lose. And you don't want people overexposed either. It's not saying there's a way to ask somebody and tell them, like, hey, I'd rather you not go over there. If how many people are going to be able to pay to see you twice a month in the same city? How many people are going to keep coming back to see you, blah, 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 or, if company A's got you as a baby face and company B's got you as a heel, and it makes no sense,
Mhm.
especially in the same town. Now, outside of that, no, you shouldn't be telling anybody, and you should ask the person, like I said, there's a way to go about it nicely. Then outside, I forbid you to go over to Mike's promotion. Now, and if you're a trainer too, I mean, if if you legitimately know that Mike's promotion is terrible, and they're unsafe and this and that, then you bring that up. But it's not, I forbid you to go because of blah 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 blah, because it's political stuff.
Yeah,
You ask them and you explain why. It's just like how you take a child and you explain what they did wrong or why you think they're doing something wrong or how they should go about doing something. But yeah, there's a lot of people that tell some people that you can't, if you wrestle in Minneapolis, you can't go wrestle for somebody over in Rochester. There's things like that, and that's kind of ridiculous. But
yeah, it's ridiculous. And it's like something. I'm not gonna mention names, but I did have the opportunity to talk to a few wrestlers, and I flat out just tell them, you know what? Don't listen to what. Don't stay away from politics. If you feel like if you want to wrestle for that promotion and that promotion, I think I think you should go for it. But at the end of the day, it's not up to me or it's not up to me or you or the fans. It's up to the promoters. And I tell them, don't let the promoters brainwash you into doing something that you might regret later. You know what I
exactly.
mean, Brian?
Nope, I know exactly what you mean. And there's a lot of manipulative guys out there, and people have to be careful of that. So, and that's tough because especially when you're young, you don't know, and there's not always somebody there to guide people. I try to guide people as best I can when they ask me something or ask me about a promoter. If I know who they are, I'll tell them. I'll give them all the pros and and if there's any cons to doing something, I'll tell them and be completely honest with them. But there's still a lot of people out there, and there's a lot of trainers out there that don't guide anybody on where to go, what to do, how to do it, how to act, how to do this, how to write a resume, how to approach another promoter, and what to do in certain situations. And I know it's tough because even as a trainer, we're all busy. If you're a trainer and a promoter, and you're all busy. But if you're training people or people come to you for advice, people are looking up to you, so you should be able to help them. But a lot of and there's also guys that have their own egos when they get trained and they don't want to be guided by anybody. So and then that's their fault. So sometimes it goes both ways. You just got to be smart. You got to know what you want, and you have to decide, do you want to be part of the drama and politics somewhere or not? And because there's plenty of places to wrestle. There's a ton of indie promotions everywhere nowadays almost. So you're not stuck by one, and there's plenty of places to train nowadays. Everyone's got a training center somewhere, it seems like. So there's a lot of places you can train, a lot of different people you can learn from. You just got to make sure you're learning from somebody that actually cares about you, not just cares about your money or, just you're there to be a rag doll.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's the reason why, I just try my best to stay out of the politics situation and just enjoy wrestling. But you know what? If I see something on social media that doesn't that I don't agree with, then what I'll do sometimes is I'll take a screenshot of that post that you made and I'll just express my opinion, you know? And it's like, yeah, yeah, that's that's just me. That's just me, you know. It's just, I can be outspoken sometimes. But I try my best not to go too far, you know?
That's the important thing. You just got to make sure when to, you got to make sure when to cut it off sometimes. And, and there's some people that love to take it too far. And there's a lot of people out there that get mad at other people's successes and they don't want to see them successful. Especially if they're not successful, they don't want to see you successful. And if they're successful, as the old saying goes, they don't want to see you more successful than they are.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I think you nailed it right in the head, Brian, because I think is I think where it all comes down to It comes down to jealous. People are just jealous of you because you getting more successful and I'm not. So what they decide to do is because they don't got shit to do. So what they decide to do, pick up someone who who's getting all this fame and blah 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 and whatnot. And there's gonna be a lot of naysayers and whatnot, but I try my best to ignore them because here's the thing. Let them talk about me. At least they're talking about me, but like I said, words will not hurt my feelings.
Exactly. And and your podcast, your YouTube have grown huge over the last few years compared to where it was when you first started and the first time I came on it, and you've stuck at it and stuck at it, and it's grown, and that's great. And but obviously, as there's some people that don't like that your podcast has grown and your YouTube has grown just because they're jealous that, hey, you've stuck with it and it's growing. And it's the same way with anything else or anybody else or any other business. Like, oh, your business is growing. Oh, wait a minute, I'm not though. And so I'm going to try to tear you down instead of trying to make myself better. Or just, mind my business and just worry about my business and keep going forward. They want, oh, let me just stop here in my tracks, try to tear you down. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's too many people like that in real life, and too many people, especially too many people like that in the wrestling business.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, why don't we work on supporting each other instead of tearing us down, you know? Because like at the end of the day, I do this Michael's Corner podcast is because, this is what I love to do. I stuck with it. And I love interviewing wrestlers like you and all the other wrestlers that I interviewed over the years. And it's a long list, Brian. If
Yeah,
you ever see me at a wrestling show, I'll show you how many people, how many wrestlers I interviewed, past or in present or deceased, that I interviewed.
well, you've done a lot. I've seen a lot of them what you did. So you're doing a good job. And like I said, you've stuck with it, and that's the most important thing. Is stick with it. You love doing it. Just keep sticking with it. It's same with wrestling. Just if you love it, stick with it. Push along. Mind your business. Don't worry about everybody else's business.
Exactly.
If you're talented, your talent will shine through at some point or another. But also
Mm-hmm.
realistic goals for yourself, and realize there are going to be people out there that would cut their nose off instead of allowing you to make $5. There's
Yeah,
promotions like people like that. They would rather, spite themselves as long as you didn't gain anything, in order to stop you instead of worrying about themselves and pushing themselves. So, you just, that's the other piece of advice. Just keep plugging away and drown out the noise, because there's always be that person that doesn't like your success, whether it's an old friend, or an old enemy, or somebody in the business that sees that you're getting, a few more opportunities than them. There's always going to be an excuse why somebody's doing something. They're going to say something. You just got to drown that stuff out, because it's not true. How, most people know the hard work that they're putting in. And if you're not putting in hard work, you also know you're not putting in the hard enough work. So,
exactly. And you know something? It's like I do have those moments where, you know, it's like after getting all these subscribers, I wasn't expecting to get 1,000 subscribers. I was I was expecting to get like maybe up to 900. But Brian, I'm almost at 1,300.
yeah, you
Ain't
just
that
kept
crazy?
pushing, kept pushing and putting, and it's going to keep growing. And that's, you're
Yeah.
doing what you love, and you've drowned out the people that have told you couldn't. And it's
Mm-hmm.
grown from nothing to 1,300 subscribers, and there's no reason it doesn't keep going for you.
Yes, yes. And you made a valuable point about it. And yep, and I'm just gonna continue to do what I love and block out the noise. Block the noise because those naysayers don't got nothing else to do but be stuck behind a digital keyboard.
Yep, a lot of keyboard warriors in life these days. A lot of keyboard warriors.
A lot of keyboards. So I'm gonna ask you this final question before we wrap up. If it was up to you, who do you want to step in the ring next, if given the opportunity?
Next, huh? Boy, there's a lot of guys out there. You mean guys
Maybe,
that are wrestle, or guys any guy I would want, I guess.
maybe we should get you back in Minnesota because there's some great guys that will. I
I've got to
don't
get back,
think so.
but
You should get in the ring with Garrison Creek.
yeah, I know Garrison. We've been on some events together. Never been in the ring together. That would be good. I like Garrison. He's a really good wrestler, and yeah, I
Mhm.
think that'd be a great match.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, yeah. Get in the ring with him, and there's a lot of wrestling that is also very good. Now, he's been in the biz, I think about, I think since the pandemic started. His name, he goes by the name of Shane Diesel. He is good. He is one good wrestler. And the reason why I mention that name is because he's getting really, really good. And you
I
can
definitely,
teach him a thing or
definitely
two.
agree with you then.
hmm I'll send you a link to his matches so you can watch it and you can see how good he is.
Okay. I'll definitely take a look. I think I've heard the name before, so I don't know if I've ever seen a match of his, but I've definitely heard his name before. And I pay attention to what goes on up in Minnesota still. Like, it's sad to see it was the end of the end of Steel Domain.
Yes. And I still trying to process that. And it's like, oh my God. They've been around since 1998, I believe.
Yeah, it's been around for a long time. They put on really good shows, and it was a great. It sounded like it was a great place for people to go and work.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's good promotions when a good promotion goes under. It's not so sad when a bad promotion and a bad promoter goes under, but it's a sad day when a good promotion with good promoters and good people go under that put on a lot of good events.
hmm yeah. Now, have you heard of Midwest All Star Wrestling?
Yeah, yep, I've heard. Yep, I've heard of them and talked to them before, and um, and I don't know if they'll step up and kind of run more shows, but there'll be somebody that tries to take Steel Domain's place, whether they'll be as good or not. Um,
Mhm.
Time will tell, but there'll definitely be somebody. There'll be somebody that steps in. It's getting to be tax time again. Somebody will have a ring, and you know, waiting for somebody to name their promotion Tax Time Wrestling or Tax Refund Wrestling. But somebody
Yeah,
will step in there, start running some events to kind of, if they can take over some of their talent base, they'd be, you got a lot of talent there and a lot of good guys, and they're putting on good shows. So
hmm
they can step in and be smart and have the financial resources and the wherewithal to do it. I think somebody will try. Like you said, Steel Domain has been around a long time, put on a lot of successful events.
hmm
So, somebody's not just be able to come in a couple months
and
and be able
just
to choose. But I know
mm,
there'll be try. There might be multiple promotions to try. There always is, and there'll be some that fail, and then hopefully somebody sticks because you know the amount of talent that was wrestling up there, and somebody's got to fill the void of where people go to work at and go wrestle at, and somebody needs to fill the void of where fans can get their entertainment at.
yeah. And I could tell you another wrestling promotion that's been there for a long time as well. Have you ever heard of Minnesota Independent Wrestling, MIW Pro Wrestling?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, that also been around for the longest.
Hmm. They've been around a long time, also. And
Yeah, they started in 2003, if I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe it's 2003. And they've been running ever since.
but you might have to come up when we run up there in Two Harbors, Minnesota. You have to get you a ride up there when we run up
Oh
there.
my God, yes. That's that's the plan. We've been actually we've been talking about that since the pandemic. Yeah, and I told you this when things quiet down a little bit, I gotta go to that Two Harbors,
And,
Minnesota.
and
And
the dates are the 9th and 10th or 10th and 11th of August, wherever that Friday, Saturday are. It's either 9th
oh
and 10th.
my God, Brian. Oh my God. And you know August is my birthday month. I'm turning 40 this year. That could be a good place. That could be a good way to celebrate, you know?
For sure. It's an awesome place up there too. It's peaceful, relaxing, great little town, great fit
Mm-hmm.
there. A lot of always get a great crowd, always a lot of fun, and yeah, one of
And
my favorite.
let's not forget about the food. I heard that they got I don't know, I heard somebody told me they got the best damn chicken tenders and french fries.
They have
So
some
that's another thing I'm going to look forward
tenderloin.
to.
The tenderloin was really good up there. That was good. I had some barbecue last time. That was really good. So, um, yeah, the food vendors they got up there are really good. I mean, they treat us right. I love the place. I love all the people up there.
Oh my God, Brian. You just, I, I tell you what, you message me on Facebook, and because you know my wrestling schedule fills up quick. So I might,
Yeah, I'll
yeah,
shoot for sure dates
yeah.
and kind of I'll tell you some of the details on over Facebook. And but yeah, it's a good time. And yeah, like I said, we're in the summer we're all over. The MWA is all over. And now that I do stuff with a lot of stuff with TAPW, which runs out of Kansas and uh, runs Fairbury, Nebraska once in a while. And now I'm part of Flagship Pro Wrestling out of in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So that's where I'm at March 10th. So
Ooh,
branching out here more and more. The MWA's in Illinois, and we got events in Wisconsin, and there'll be events in Iowa this summer, and more in Nebraska, and working on some stuff. Working on a few things for the MWA in South Dakota too. So, we go all over that way, and so yeah, it's gonna be busy. It's gonna be fun. And said the next one, if people want to see me, next one I'm at is February 16th in Beatrice, Nebraska, and February 17th in Grand Island, Nebraska. We're at the in Grand Island with the historic Liederkrantz building. Liederkrantz used to hold professional wrestling. It's an incredible building. It's I'll post some pictures that I took while I was in it. They gave me the grand tour, and they used to have pro wrestling, pro boxing. Presidents used to come in there for campaigns in the 50s, before in the 1960s and earlier. Just an incredible historic place, and we finally able to put a wrestling show on in there again. I don't think they've had pro wrestling in there since I think he said 1958 or something like that. So that'll be pretty awesome. And then Beatrice, we're at their city auditorium, which is it used to hold old school wrestling back in the day of the AWA. And Central States Wrestling used to go to their auditorium every now and then too. So we get in Nebraska. There's some cool venues I get to go into and run. McCook, the same thing, the auditorium where they used to have. Central States used to go there now and then. So yeah, it's really cool. Some of these old venues we get to have wrestling shows in, and like I said, the Liederkrantz in Grand Island. That's kind of that's gonna be real special. Just what the building used to have and what it holds and what it means to people in Grand Island. And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one.
okay. Wow. Wow, yeah. It seems like you got a lot going on this summer, and we almost January is almost over. And I can't believe it's February almost in about 2 hours.
Yeah, it's can't believe how fast January went, and then February's here, and yeah, and then February on.
Yeah,
I got an insane number of shows all the way through August right now already booked. So
holy cow. Yeah, and like I said, my friend, just let me, yep, just message me about, message me so then that way, and yeah, because let's make this happen because I would love to actually get out of town, get out of the house some and enjoy myself.
for sure, and there, like I said, it's our events are a lot of fun. The people are a lot of fun, and the fair's a lot of fun. So everyone treats you right up there. You're right on
Um,
Lake Superior, so there's it's just kind of a really nice place, really cool place to go.
okay. Um, so where can fans follow you on social media?
You can find me on Facebook is under Brian Blade. Um, on Instagram, I think it's at Real Brian Blade. At TikTok, it's at Real Brian Blade. Um, on Twitter and X, I guess it is. It's real at Real Brian Blade, and then my light just went out. And then on Threads, it's at Real Brian Blade. So
Uh-huh. Okay, well, Brian, thank you for coming on. Oh, your lights went out again.
yeah, light went out back there. Now I got to fix the light. Now I got to fix the light before I go to bed.
Okay. Well, you take it easy, Brian. Now I'll bring you on. I'll bring you on in about, let's say I'll bring you on in about 2 months or so.
Sounds good. It's always a pleasure, Michael.
All right, you take care.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Yep, bye. So that was an interesting interview and whatnot. Brian Blade is one of the nicest people that you'll ever meet. Um, if you guys want to follow me on social media, Facebook will be Michael's Corner. Twitter apps will be at Michael Pam. And YouTube is Michael's Wrestling Channel. All right. Well, you guys have a good night, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.